We have no appointments tonight, and we do have a presentation by the police department, and that will be our one and only Chief Upson.
All right, good evening, Mayor Patterson, council members. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to come before you tonight. I know your time is very valuable, and I greatly appreciate this opportunity. There's not much I'm more passionate in talking about, other than maybe my kids, is this amazing department. So thank you for the opportunity. So because I haven't really done this presentation since I've been here, I wanted to take this opportunity just to give a little bit of background about the department and what the department is all about. So we have a pretty amazing vision, and our vision is to be the greatest police department in the world. And a lot of people kind of get a little chuckle with that, but I really want to validate that is our vision. We're striving for that vision every day. And I think, in terms of how you measure that success with that vision, we'll talk a little bit about that today in terms of crime numbers and the absence of crime. That's certainly a measure. But the most important measure of this vision is really what the community feels about their department. Do they trust and believe in their police department? Do they feel safe in their community? Those are the measures of greatness. And I think to some degree, we are doing great things towards achieving this vision every day. And we really do try to reinforce this in everything we do, this vision. We talk about it a lot, and we reinforce it in the community constantly. And to go about achieving that vision, we have a mission, and we talk about with honor and integrity at all times, in partnership with our community, we're dedicated to keeping Benicia safe and enhancing the quality of life in our city. And so I'll go into that in the next slide, which really kind of to graphically show you how we accomplish that mission in our daily activities. So if you think of the vision and the mission as kind of the roof of the building that we're building, our foundation is what we call integritas. And you'll see that term on the back of our cars, you'll see it on our jackets, our shirts, our coins. It's integrity. And we tell a story about integrity, and we understand that has to be the foundation of our department, because with our vision and with our mission, if we don't have the trust and respect of our community, then we're never going to achieve what we're striving to achieve. So integrity is the foundation. We're constantly striving to reinforce that and talk about it in the work that we do. And very proud of that motto that we have, Integritas. We have what we call the 3 pillars, and we also talk about these 3 pillars a lot in how we do the work every day to carry out our vision and our mission. The first pillar is community engagement. We'll talk about that. The second pillar is rapid and effective response to crimes in progress. And the third pillar is relentless follow-up. And how do we do this? We do it with our people. That's our strength. The people, to achieve this vision, our staff has to believe in the vision. They have to believe in the vision and carry it with them every day. And we're just very, very fortunate to have an amazing staff who buy into the vision. They want to make it real. They want to carry it out every day. And they're just doing amazing things to make that vision a part of kind of who we are. So one of the quotes I really like, August Vollmer, who is a very famous historical police figure. He was a police chief in Berkeley for 30 years in the late 1800s and early 1900s. He said that morale causes an organization to ascend to the mountaintop of achievement. An organization with high morale is never defeated. There may be many discouragements, but defeat never. And so morale, is a critical part of how we achieve our greatness. We believe it's important. We work on that constantly. We strive to really reinforce it. We're very fortunate. I think one of the most profound ways we kind of have really good morale is because the community and the community that supports us. We're surrounded by support, and that validates our staff every day. And it's hugely important for the high morale and the motivation that you see in our staff is because they feel like what they do matters to this community, and this community really wants them to do what they do. We also believe strongly in leadership. That's one of our values. We try and enforce it throughout the entire department. We believe even the kind of our officer line level staff, they're expected to be leaders in the community, walking the walk every day and showing the community members kind of great behavior, great work ethic, and really demonstrating that greatness every day. The other way we do it is really allowing our staff freedom to operate within that vision. So if it's not exactly in the box of what you might think police work is, if it's reinforcing the vision, that's great. That's what we want them to do. We want them to reinforce that. And so yes, we're very, very proud of the work they do. I think the community engagement efforts have been very successful. So talk a little bit about crime numbers. We're going to talk about what's called UCR numbers, or Uniform Crime Reporting numbers. These are the standard numbers that are reported to the FBI every year by about 18,000 law enforcement organizations in the country. So it's kind of we've been reporting these numbers for decades, and it is a way to do some comparisons. I would argue that UCR data is most useful to us internally in comparing us year to year, because we know how we report our data. When you start comparing us to other organizations using UCR data, it becomes a little more tricky, because different agencies report crime differently. Some agencies don't report a lot of the crime that occurs in their communities. A lot of agencies don't even take reports for certain types of crimes now because they're so busy. So the data isn't going to be accurate in terms of comparing apple to apple if you're looking at from community to community. The numbers just, they're not always reported the same way. Here in Benicia, we are able to report we report our data very consistently and very authentically. We look at the rules very carefully about UCR, and we report the way it's supposed to be reported. So with our numbers, they are very accurate, but again, difficult to compare if you want to compare agency to agency. There's basically two areas of UCR reporting. There's violent crimes and there's property crimes. Under the violent crimes category, you have murder, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault. Under the property crimes category, you have burglary, larceny, which includes petty theft, grand theft, auto burglary, and you have auto theft. So those are the numbers we report every year under UCR, and arson, sorry. So if you see this chart, this is basically our year-to-year UCR Part 1 crimes. And as you can see, 2018, we see a dramatic reduction. It's about a 17% reduction in crime from the previous year. And we see very good, probably the most significant increase, I would say, is in the burglary category. Not in sheer numbers, it's larceny. That's the theft of items. But burglary is such a profound crime, even though it's considered a property crime, it affects people deeply. You know, when your home or your business is entered and things are stolen from your business or your home, it has a profound impact on people. And so while it's considered a nonviolent crime, we take it very seriously here. And so seeing over 40% reduction in that is we're very proud of that. We saw, as I mentioned, a decrease in the larceny category, where we saw increase in stolen autos, a slight increase, and a significant increase in robberies. It is a small number. Robberies is a small number. We average typically about 9 robberies a year, I believe, but this year we had 17, which is an alarming number, something I'll talk about in a minute. And if you look there, you see the 5-year average, and we're well below the 5-year average this year. And in fact, it's our lowest year in 5 years in terms of Part 1 crimes. This chart has our arrest numbers, so I think of note, you'll see that the most significant number of arrests we make are in Part 1 crimes, which is a real success story. Obviously, those are the crimes we really want to be impacting, and you can see we make a lot of arrests in that category. And then we also do make quite a few narcotics arrests, mostly meth and heroin. And most of those are possession, and they're now a misdemeanor. You also see quite a few DUI arrests and warrant arrests in that arrest chart. So I want to talk about the community engagement pillar. It's kind of our most critical pillar, and for us, the philosophy is that we have to have a partnership with the community. We can only make the community safe together. We have 32 police officers. We cannot do this, and you can never make a community safe without true community partnership. Police departments cannot do it on their own. And so here we're so fortunate to have an amazing community that is totally engaged and wants to partner with their police department, and they do so every day. And it's such a big piece of how we achieve what we achieve is that through that community partnership. So community has to be about safety, and police have to be about community. We can't be separate. The idea is somehow that the community, if they were to think that the police department would just handle safety of the community, that's just, it's not a reality. You don't cede that responsibility. It's a community responsibility. And we understand that our greatest single power in everything we do, our greatest power is leveraging and partnering with the community. That is our greatest strength. It's where we'll see the greatest success. And so what we like to say is, and we say this a lot, we have 28,000 police officers in Benicia. And that's the philosophy we want to have. We're specialists. We're the ones that you call because we know the process and the laws and how to arrest somebody, but we're the specialists, but everybody is a part of this. And that's one of the things why we talk about our officers on the line level being leaders, is because they're leading those community police officers. So one of the, just a success story of the community, how we partner with the community, we had noticed a huge spike in auto theft at the beginning of the year, very alarming, coming out of Amports. And so we immediately engaged Amports at the leadership level, at the line level, and they partnered with us really wholeheartedly. We worked together on a bunch of changes, and they made a significant investment, and we managed to totally eliminate that. We have essentially had almost zero thefts from there since those changes were made. And that's really what we want to do with that community partner. When we see a crime trend occurring, we want to get on top of it as quick as we can and come up with long-term solutions rather than just responding call to call to call. So that's a good success story. Rapid and effective response to crimes in progress. We believe if a crime occurs, we want to get there and get the suspects while we can. It's an opportunity to stop the criminal cycle, right? Because if they're probably going to commit more crimes and more crimes, let's get them while we can. And so I think we're very good at this. This is a picture from when we had a robbery at CVS, and the lieutenant, the patrol commander, actually, they know where to go to respond to try and cut people off trying to escape. And he did that, spotted the suspects, pursued them. Luckily we have our new radio system, and I'll thank you for that. We have our eBricks radio system. We're able to communicate with the CHP, with neighboring agencies, coordinate it, and we end up catching them in Pleasant Hill. The two of them were probably good for 50 robberies around the state. And so we put an end to that. So some great work. And we want to get out there and catch suspects while we can. We had noticed an uptick in robberies, as we mentioned, that had concerned us. We saw, this is a heat map of the robberies, so it shows kind of where the bulk of the robberies were happening out off Columbus Parkway. And so once we recognized that trend, we took action in terms of we put bait cars out, we did stings out there, and we essentially stopped that trend in its tracks with our proactive actions that we took. And that's what, again, what we want to do. We want to be, and I think we can actually, this is an area for improvement of us, we can actually be quicker in spotting these trends and identifying them and taking action. So that's one of the things we'll be working on. We want to be relentless. We want to have relentless follow-up in the pursuit of justice. We want people to know that if you come here to commit crimes, we are going to find you. We're going to come and find you. And even if it's a misdemeanor and we got to travel, we're coming, because we want to seek justice for our community members who are victimized. This is one of our officers up in Washington State arresting a suspect in a 2013 stranger sexual assault. This arrest was made in 2018 from a 2013 stranger sexual assault. And we went to Washington State. We sent the detective and a detective sergeant up there to make that arrest. That's her arresting the suspect in Washington and bringing him back to face justice. And that's our philosophy. We had officers go to a hospital in a major metropolitan city nearby who had one of our suspects for a stolen auto in the hospital, and we went there to interview him, and the officers in the city couldn't believe that we would send somebody to do that kind of work and follow up on a case like that, and that's our philosophy. We're coming. If we can find you, we're going to come seek justice. Some of our department projects and initiatives over 2018. I'm very proud of our wellness program. That program's been growing, and it's really about recognizing that the stress and the effect of stress and shift work and the danger that is to our staff in terms of their long-term health, and really trying to make concrete efforts to address those. We've had a great deal of support, and I appreciate it. We've really been able to do some great things, I think, to positively impact our staff's wellness. We have CAD RIMS going forward, and what's really neat about that, I'm very proud of our chiefs group, which is the sheriff, the district attorney, the different police chiefs in the county. We came together about 2 years ago and decided we are going to do CAD, and we're going to all do the same CAD, and we're going to make sure it's interoperable in the county. So we will, as a county, every law enforcement agency is going to be on this, it's called RIMS Collaborate, where we can work together. All of our systems will be able to see each other, and it's going to be a huge leap forward in terms of our collaboration in law enforcement in this county. And thank council for their support for that. That's our CAD program. That's RIMS Collaborate is the name of the CAD system. So we're excited about that. Star Chase is getting installed in the next week or two. This actually shoots a magnetic dart from the patrol car into a car we're pursuing, and it sticks on the back of the car, and then we can track the car, so you can back off the pursuit. Which obviously pursuits are filled with risk, and so this is just another tool that allows us to back off, use potentially tracking software then to follow the car. And other agencies have using this in the Bay Area very successfully, so we're excited about that. As I mentioned, pursuits are dangerous. More and more cars are being better and better built. They're not hearing sirens like they used to because they're so well insulated. We've added a low frequency siren to all of our fleet, so it just enhances the ability to get people's attention in the event that we're using our sirens, which increases the safety of our safety as well as the safety of the community. We recently added 2 automated license plate readers to 2 of our cars. That'll be going live in the next couple weeks. I want to thank council. We've made some real strides on the homelessness front. With the support for Cap Solano and the different projects, as well as the shelter that the council's made over the last few months, those really do help us in giving us a place to take, so homeless people have an option for some shelter or a help up to hopefully better housing in the future. So those have been very helpful, and appreciate council's work on that. And then finally, we'll have our needs assessment final draft will be done here shortly and brought to council as well. So we're excited about that. We've been working on that all year. And with that, I will open it up to questions.